Portable air compressor safety video for operating and maintenance personnel. This safety alert symbol means attention, be alert, your safety is involved. The safety alert symbol identifies important safety messages on machines, safety signs, in manuals, or elsewhere. When you see this symbol, be alert to the possibility of personal injury or death. Follow the instructions in the safety message. Why is safety important to you? There are three big reasons. Accidents kill or disable. Accidents cost. Accidents can be avoided. Promote safety. This video will be divided into the following sections. Forward and a word to the user. Section 1. Follow a safety program. Section 2. Prepare for safe operation and towing. Section 3. Start safely. Section 4. Work safely. Section 5. Shut down safely. Section 6. Perform maintenance safely. Section 7. Load and unload safely. Section 8. Test your knowledge. Section 9. A final word to the user. Forward. This safety video is intended to point out some of the basic situations which may be encountered during the normal operation and maintenance of your wheel or skid-mounted portable air compressor, and to suggest possible ways of dealing with these conditions. Additional precautions may be necessary depending on application and attachments used and conditions at the work site or in the maintenance area. The air compressor manufacturer has no direct control over machine application, operation, inspection, lubrication, or maintenance. Therefore, it is your responsibility to use good safety practices in these areas. Do not use the air compressor for any purpose other than compressing air. The information provided in this video supplements the specific information about your machine that is contained in the manufacturer's manuals. Other information which may affect the safe operation of your machine may be displayed on safety signs or in insurance requirements, employer safety programs, safety codes, local, state, provincial, and federal laws, rules, and regulations. This video does not replace the safety manuals. If you do not understand any of this information, or if errors or contradictions seem to exist, consult with your supervisor before operating your machine. Important: if you do not have the manufacturer's manuals for your particular machine, get a replacement manual from your employer, equipment dealer, or manufacturer of your machine. Keep the safety manual and the manufacturer's manuals accessible to the operator and maintenance personnel. A word to the user. Remember that you are the key to safety. Good safety practices not only protect you, but also protect the people around you. It is your responsibility to study this video, the SEMA Safety Manual, and the manufacturer's manuals for your specific machine before operating your machine. Make them a working part of your safety program. Keep in mind that this safety video is written for portable air compressors only. Practice all other usual and customary safe working precautions, and above all, remember, safety is up to you. You can prevent serious injury or death. Do not breathe the air discharged from the air compressor. It can cause serious illness, personal injury, or death. Follow a safety program. Know what it is. Consult your supervisor for specific instructions on a job and the personal safety equipment required. For instance, you may need hard hat, safety shoes, eye protection, face protection, heavy gloves, reflector vests, ear protectors, respirators. Do not wear loose clothing or any accessory, flopping cuffs, dangling neckties and scarves, or jewelry that can catch in moving parts. Be alert. Know where to get assistance. Know how to use a first aid kit and fire extinguisher. Be aware. Take advantage of training programs offered. Be careful. Human error is caused by many factors: carelessness, fatigue, overload, preoccupation, incompatibility between man and the machine, drugs and alcohol, to name a few. Damage to a machine can be fixed in a short period of time, but injury or death has a lasting effect. For your safety and the safety of others, encourage your fellow workers to act safely. Prepare for safe operation and towing. Learn to be safe. Study the operator's manual and other information furnished with your air compressor. Learn your machine's operating and maintenance characteristics, capacities, and limitations. Learn the location and function of all controls, indicators, and warning devices. Be familiar with the safety devices and instructions on your machine. Learn to recognize the machine's warning and safety signals. They will alert you to conditions that may make it hazardous to continue operating. Carefully read and follow all safety signs and instructions on the machine. Keep safety signs and instructions in good condition. Replace missing or damaged ones. Check it out. Know what protective devices your machine is equipped with, and see that each item is securely in place and in operating condition. For example, drawbar coupling chains and pins, alarms and warning lamps, reflectors, guards and shields, drain covers, plugs and caps, shutdown devices, pressure relief devices. Know your machine. Familiarize yourself with controls and instruments, their locations and functions. You'll handle controls without slipping if you wipe levers and knobs clean of oil or grease. Are repairs made? If your daily check uncovers any item that needs attention, repair, replacement, or adjustment, report it promptly. The most minor malfunction could be the result of more serious trouble, or can cause it if the machine is operated. When in doubt, attach a Do Not Operate tag to the control panel and disconnect the battery. Fire prevention. Avoid fire hazards. Always stop the engine and allow the air compressor to cool before you refuel. Do not refuel while smoking or when near open flame or sparks. Never overfill fuel tanks or fluid reservoirs. Batteries produce explosive gases. Keep open flame or sparks away. See the manufacturer's instructions when servicing the battery, when using jumper cables, or when using a battery charger. Remove all trash or debris from the machine. Make sure that oily rags or other flammable material are not stored in or on the machine. Check for fuel, oil, and hydraulic fluid leaks. Replace worn or damaged hoses and lines. After repairs are made, clean the machine before you operate it. Inspect electrical wiring for worn or damaged insulation. Install new wiring if the wires are damaged. Ether is flammable. Do not smoke when using ether. Always follow the instructions on the ether can and in the operator's manual for your machine. Tires. Inspect tires for wear, damage, and proper inflation. Never tow with overinflated or underinflated tires. Do not change tire sizes or types. Make sure all wheel bolts, lugs, or nuts are tightened to manufacturer's instructions. Preparing to tow. Inspect the air compressor coupling device and drawbar, and chains if provided, and the towing vehicle coupling device and points of chain attachment for defects such as excessive wear or corrosion, cracked, bent, dented, or otherwise deformed or degraded members, and for loose nuts, bolts, or other fasteners. Make sure the towing vehicle and its coupling device are rated for towing a vehicle of at least the net weight of the air compressor plus an additional 10% allowance for the weight of mud, snow, ice, or stored tools and/or equipment. After making certain no one is in the way, back the towing vehicle to the air compressor and position it in preparation for coupling the air compressor. If the air compressor is provided with a drawbar latched in the upright position, carefully unlatch the drawbar and lower it to engage the coupling device. If not, raise the drawbar to engage the coupling device or otherwise couple the air compressor to the towing vehicle. Do not attempt to raise or lower the drawbar by hand if the weight is more than you can safely handle. Use a lifting device, such as a jack, if you can't lift or lower without avoiding injury to yourself or others. Keep hands and fingers clear of the coupling device and all other pinch points. Keep feet clear of the drawbar to avoid injury in case it should slip from your hands or the jack. Make sure the coupling device is fully engaged, closed, and locked. If safety chains, brake, and/or electrical connections are provided, attach according to manufacturer's instructions. Make sure that the coupling device and adjacent structures on the towing vehicle and connections do not interfere with or restrict motion of any part of the air compressor, including its coupling device with respect to the towing vehicle when maneuvering over any anticipated terrain. If provided, make sure chain length and brake and electrical connections provide sufficient slack to prevent strain when cornering and maneuvering, yet are supported so they cannot drag or rub, which might cause wear that could render them inoperative. On two-wheeled machines, fully retract the front screw jack if provided and any rear stabilizer legs. If a retractable caster wheel is provided, pull the lock pin and fold and raise the caster wheel, then make sure the pin is re-engaged to secure caster wheel in full up and locked position. Keep hands and fingers clear of pinch points. Make sure parking brakes in the towing vehicle are set, or that its wheels are chocked or blocked, or that it is otherwise restrained from moving. Then, release the air compressor parking brakes if provided. Make sure the air compressor wheels are not chocked or blocked and that all tie-downs, if any, are free. Test running brake operation, including breakaway switch operation if provided. Do not carry loose or inappropriate tools, equipment, or supplies on or in the air compressor. Do not permit personnel to ride in or on the air compressor or drawbar. Make sure the areas behind, in front of, and under the air compressor are clear of all personnel and obstructions prior to moving in any direction. Do not permit personnel to stand or walk between the air compressor and the towing vehicle. Towing. Observe all local and federal traffic laws. Do not exceed legal speeds or maximum towing speeds recommended by the manufacturer. Adjust towing speed for road conditions and allow for increased stopping distances. Avoid potholes, rocks, and other obstructions and soft shoulders or unstable terrain. Maneuver carefully, especially when backing up, to stay clear of adjacent structures and avoid crimping and binding of drawbars and connections. Location and parking. Park or locate the air compressor on firm, level areas if possible. If not level, park or locate the air compressor across grade so the compressor does not tend to roll downhill. On four-wheel machines, park the air compressor with front wheels in straight-ahead position. Do not park or locate the air compressor on grades exceeding 15 degrees, 27%. Park so as to not interfere with traffic. If provided, set the parking brakes and disconnect the breakaway switch cable and all other electrical and/or brake connections. Block or chock front and rear of all wheels. Unhook chains. Lower front jack, swivel caster wheel, and/or any rear stabilizer legs. Make certain they are securely locked in the down position. Unhitch the drawbar from the towing vehicle, keeping clear of all pinch points. Do not attempt to lift the drawbar, or if hinged, to raise it to the upright position by hand if the weight is more than you can safely handle. Use a lifting device, such as a jack, or get help if you can't lift or raise the drawbar without avoiding injury to yourself or others. When possible, stow hinged drawbars in the upright position. Keep feet clear of the drawbars at all times to avoid crushing accidents in case it should slip from your hands or otherwise fall to the ground. Move the towing vehicle well clear of the parked air compressor and erect hazard indicators, barricades, and/or flares, if at night, as appropriate. Exhaust fumes can kill. Do not operate an air compressor in an enclosed area. Walk-around inspection. Before you start each day, walk around the air compressor and inspect for leaks, loose or missing parts, damaged parts, or parts out of adjustment. Perform all recommended daily maintenance. Pre-start procedures. Vent all internal pressure prior to opening any air line, fitting, hose, valve, drain plug, connector, oil filler, filler caps, etc., and before refilling anti-icer systems. Make certain all hoses, shutoff valves, flow limiting valves, and other attachments are connected according to the manufacturer's instructions. If the air compressor is to be used in conjunction with other sources of air, be certain there is a check valve installed at the service valve. Start safely. Warn personnel of any danger. Warn anyone who is near the air compressor before you start it, and make sure they are safely clear before starting. Compressed air blowing to atmosphere can damage hearing. Make certain all personnel in the working area have adequate ear protection. If recommended by the manufacturer, keep air compressor doors closed. Starting the engine. Know the correct starting procedure for your air compressor. Follow the manufacturer's instructions. Familiarize yourself with warning devices, gauges, and operating controls before starting the air compressor. Before starting the engine, be sure you know the emergency shutdown procedure. Starting aids. If jumper cables are used, follow the manufacturer's instructions. A battery explosion could result from improper procedures. When ether cold start fluid is required, always read the instructions before using. Ether is highly flammable. Do not inject ether into a hot engine or an engine equipped with a glow plug type preheater. Do not inject ether into the compressor air filter or a common air filter for the engine and compressor. After starting the engine, observe gauges, instruments, and warning lights to assure that they are functioning and their readings are within the normal operating range. Listen for trouble. While operating the air compressor, listen for any unusual noises and check for any unusual vibration which could indicate trouble. No machine should be operated if any part is not in proper operating condition. Make certain that any unsafe condition has been satisfactorily remedied. Always tag the air compressor with a Do Not Operate tag at the control panel and disconnect the battery if unsafe conditions exist. Work safely. Beware of lightning. Stay clear of the machine during electrical storms. It can attract lightning. Safe working procedures. Do not attempt to move the compressor or lift the drawbar without adequate personnel or equipment to handle the weight. Keep personnel out of line with or away from discharge openings at valves, couplings, or hoses. Do not exceed manufacturer's air pressure rating. Make certain all personnel in the area are wearing appropriate personal safety equipment. Do not use compressed air for breathing. Do not direct it at yourself or other persons for any reason. Do not allow compressed air to blow on foodstuffs. Make certain that compartment doors, guards, and panels are secured to prevent dropping on personnel. Do not remove the radiator cap or air compressor oil filler cap while the engine is running. Allow the engine to cool before removing the radiator cap. Be certain no pressure is in the system when removing the compressor filler cap. Do not refuel while the engine is running. Allow it to cool before refueling. Make certain that whatever is to be connected to the compressed air line is not subjected to pressures greater than those given in their manufacturer's instructions. Make certain all connections are securely made and hoses under pressure are secured with appropriate safety devices to prevent whipping. Follow the correct shutdown procedure. The detailed shutdown procedure is given in your manufacturer's operation manual. Know the emergency shutdown procedure. The machine shutdown procedure may, among other things, include the following. Shut off all air service valves at the compressor. Allow the machine to cool at idle speed. Stop the air compressor. Operate the tool or device until all air pressure is relieved. Install and lock all locking devices and remove the ignition key if so equipped. Perform maintenance safely. Good housekeeping. Keep area clean and dry if possible. Oily and wet surfaces are slippery. Greasy rags are a fire hazard. Wet spots are dangerous around electrical equipment. General procedures. Do not perform any work on the air compressor unless you are authorized to do so. Standard maintenance procedures should always be observed. Read the manufacturer's manual or find assistance if you do not understand what you are doing. Maintenance can be dangerous unless performed properly. Be certain that you have the necessary skill and information, correct tools, and equipment to do the job correctly. Attach a Do Not Operate tag or similar warning tag to the control panel and disconnect the battery before performing maintenance on the machine. Air pressure. Make certain air compressor service valves are closed. Open any control valves on the tools or equipment being charged or driven before disconnecting hoses. Do not weld or perform any modifications on the air compressor receiver tank. Cooling system. Maintain the cooling system according to the manufacturer's instructions. Hot coolant can spray out and you can be burned if you improperly maintain or service the cooling system. Remove the filler cap only when cool enough to touch with the bare hand. Fire prevention. Avoid fire hazards. Always stop the engine and allow it to cool before you refuel the air compressor. Do not refuel while smoking or near open flame or sparks. Never overfill fuel tanks or fluid reservoirs. Remove all trash or debris. Make sure that oily rags or other flammable materials are not stored on or in the air compressor. Check for fuel, oil, or hydraulic fluid leaks. Repair the leaks and clean the machine before you operate it. Inspect electrical wiring for worn or frayed insulation. Install new wiring if wires are damaged. Do not weld or flame cut on pipes, tubes, or tanks that contain flammable fluids or gases. Ether is flammable. Do not smoke when using ether. Always follow the instructions on the ether can and in the manufacturer's manual for your air compressor. Always use a safe, non-flammable solvent when you clean parts. Do not use flammable fluids or fluids that give off harmful vapors. Store all flammable fluids and materials away from your work area. Know where fire extinguishers are kept, how they operate, and for what type of fire they are intended. Check readiness of fire suppression systems and fire detectors if so equipped. Battery maintenance. Batteries produce explosive gases. Keep open flame or sparks away. See the manufacturer's instructions when servicing the batteries, when using jumper cables, or when using a battery charger. Use a flashlight to check battery electrolyte level. Always check with the engine stopped. Battery electrolyte is poisonous. It is strong enough to burn skin, eat holes in clothing, and cause blindness if splashed into eyes. Always wear eye and face protection. Flush any contacted area with water immediately. Do not charge a battery or jump-start the engine if the battery is frozen. Warm to 60 degrees Fahrenheit or it may explode. Exhaust fumes can cause sickness or death. If it is necessary to run an engine in an enclosed area, remove the exhaust fumes from the area with an exhaust pipe extension. If you do not have an exhaust pipe extension, make sure you open the doors and get outside air into the area. Never breathe the air discharged from the air compressor. Exhaust fumes may be ingested into the compressed air system. Form good dress habits. Keep hands and clothing away from moving parts. Don't tempt fate with fumbling fingers, dangling ties, loose sleeves, or jewelry. Keep pockets free of all objects which could fall out and into machinery. Wear safety glasses at all times. Heavy parts. Handle tools and heavy parts sensibly, with regard for yourself and other persons. Lower items. Don't throw or drop them. Tire maintenance. Explosive separation of a tire and or rim parts can cause serious injury or death. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations or see your tire supplier. Always maintain the correct tire pressure. Do not inflate the tires above the air compressor manufacturer's recommended pressure. Inspect tires and wheels prior to moving the compressor. Do not tow with high or low pressure, cuts, excessive wear, bubbles, damaged rims, or missing lug bolts or nuts. Maintain wheel lug nuts tightened to manufacturer's recommendations. A certain pressure rise during towing is normal and should not be reduced. High speeds during transport may produce excessive tire pressures due to heat. Never bleed tires. Reduce towing speed or stop and let tires cool. When adjusting tire pressure, do so from a distance. Use a long hose with a self-attaching chuck. Always stand behind the tread when adjusting tire pressure. Do not inflate tires with flammable gases or from systems utilizing an alcohol injector. Guards and safety devices. After performing maintenance, make certain all guards have been installed and all safety devices are functional. Load and unload safely. Keep all non-essential personnel clear of the area. Load and unload on a level surface. Block the transport vehicle so it cannot move. Keep the trailer bed and ramps clean of clay, oil, and all materials which can become slippery. If ramps are used, use ramps of adequate size and strength, low angle, and proper height. When using the lifting bale, be certain the crane and/or lifting devices have adequate capacity. Chain and block the machine securely for transport. Check height, width, and weight for travel clearances and load limitations. Test your knowledge. Do you understand this SEMA safety video and items such as your safety program, your air compressor manufacturer's manuals, proper clothing and personal safety equipment, your air compressor's controls, warning signs and devices, and safety equipment, proper towing and parking procedures, how to properly inspect and start your air compressor, how to check your air compressor for proper operation, proper working procedures, proper shutdown procedures, your work area and any special hazards that may exist, proper maintenance procedures, proper loading and unloading procedures for transporting. Under what conditions should you not operate your air compressor? If you do not understand any of these items, consult with your supervisor before operating your air compressor. A final word to the user. Remember that you are the key to safety. Good safety practices not only protect you, but protect the people around you. You have watched this safety video, read the SEMA Safety Manual and the manufacturer's manuals for your specific air compressor. Make them a working part of your safety program. Keep in mind that this safety video is produced only for this type of machine. Practice all other usual and customary safe working precautions, and above all, remember, safety is up to you. You can prevent serious injury or death.